After exhaustive detective work since Sunday, we are here to announce an arrest in the disturbing murder of Jacinto Perez. A suspect is in custody, and we have a warrant for a second suspect charging him with first-degree murder. Both suspects were roommates of the victim. Major Pacheco will walk us through details of this murder investigation. Major.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. As we know, on August the 24th, this past Sunday at about 9:15 in the morning, officers responded to 8810 Enfield Court in Laurel, Maryland, for a call for service. Upon officers' arrival, they met with a civilian who advised that they felt that they had found human remains inside of a plastic bag at that location. As officers investigated the scene, they arrived at the same conclusion after looking in the same inside that plastic bag, resulting in additional officers responding to the scene to assist. Considering the size and scope of the apartment complex and potential crime scene, various components of the police department responded, to include members from our Criminal Investigations Division Homicide Unit, our evidence technicians, our officers assigned to the Police Academy, and patrol officers, as well as countless others, to aid in scanning the area for additional items of evidence. As a result of those efforts, all of the human remains were recovered belonging to our victim. Homicide investigators quickly took the lead, as they should in this case, and were able to identify our victim as Jacinto Perez. As a result of witness interviews and countless investigative efforts by our detectives, it was quickly determined that our victim shared an apartment dwelling nearby. The dwelling that he shared with two of our two suspects. Our suspects were identified as Bayron Cruz-Vargas and Santos Mejia-Yanes. Mr. Yanes was located last night, was brought to our Criminal Investigations Division, where he was interviewed at length. During the course of the interview, he waived and provided us with a statement implicating himself in the involvement in this murder. Additionally, it was discovered, based on the information he provided, that what we believe occurred was that on August the 23rd, Saturday, our victim became involved with some sort of altercation with both suspects at their residence. During the course of the altercation became physical, resulting in our victim's death. Shortly thereafter, both suspects collectively made an effort at discarding items of evidence, and in this case, dismembering our victim. Immediately following, we theorized that both suspects made an obvious attempt at discarding the human remains through various locations of the apartment complex. Not by any means do we feel this was a random act. This was clearly an incident that escalated from a verbal argument into a physical altercation and ultimately the death of our victim. That will bring us up to speed as to where we are. And frankly, we're where we are due to the hard work and dedication of the many officers that responded to the scene, as well as the community information provided to us and subsequent interviews by the CID Criminal Investigative Unit homicide investigators assigned to this case. Thank you.
Any questions?
Major, could you provide a couple of details I don't think I had Monday? Where were there were two bags found that were initially done, and there was a big search. Where were the other remains found, and what were the circumstances? Were they also bagged when they were taken from dumpsters, and which dumpsters were they found in?
Well, there were various dumpsters. Well, as you might know, there were various dumpsters on the property. There were at least 3 locations that I'm aware of where remains were recovered, and at least 4 bags containing remains. Where, I believe that should answer your question.
Did I have it right? There were some remains that were actually recovered from dumpsters.
There were remains that were in bags. Now, there were a couple of bags that were found outside of dumpsters and a couple that were found inside. Yeah.
So, there's a lot of chatter in the neighborhood about MS-13 and so-called gang activity that may be related to this. What's your take on that?
We don't have anything to support that. On the contrary, everything we've discovered at this point seems to have gleaned from this confrontation inside the dwelling by roommates, by folks sharing a dwelling.
How were you able to identify the body?
Actually, it was, again, going back to the investigative work, it was one of our investigators that located an individual she believed may have been related to the victim near the scene. It was coincidental, but it worked out, and it was factual. We were able to identify our victim, and that was the first step in us doing so.
Did they live in the apartment complex?
Yes, you mean these individuals here? Yes, yes.
How does the victim die? Do you know?
Well, we're not going to. We'll wait for a final conclusion when the Emmy's report comes out. But it's clear that he had suffered significant trauma, and I don't mean due to the dismemberment prior to.
No gunshot wounds?
No, sir.
Any leads on Vargas?
We believe he's out of the area. Not sure where yet.
What was the immigration status of the folks?
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
What was the fight about?
Well, we're speculating right now that it had at least in part to do with money.
What do they do for a living?
I don't know that.
Are they legal?
That is yet to be determined. With respect to that issue, as far as the police department is concerned, it doesn't matter. I mean, we look at suspects, we look at victims, we look at persons of interest. That doesn't come into play whatsoever, so it doesn't really play a role. I have not been advised one way or the other whether they are or not. I know we suspect that they are not legal, but it's irrelevant as far as the process goes.
You suspect he's heading for Central America?
I couldn't speculate there. I don't know.
But you have some information that he's out of the area?
Yes. Yes.
Could you say how long they've been roommates or lived at that address?
It's my understanding from what's been shared with us up to this point, they have not been roommates very long.
A couple of the neighbors I talked to said they thought these guys were recent immigrants from Guatemala and that they were day laborers in the Laurel area. Can you clear that up for us? Do you have any background information that would help us with that?
We haven't been able to firm up everybody's type of employment or occupation. It's my understanding that our victim was new to the area, but it'd be a stretch for me to say he's new to the country versus new to Maryland. I can't really go further with that.
And how did you find Mr. Hawkeyes there? Whatever his name is.
Actually, again, going back to the investigative work by the officers assigned investigators, we were able to arrive and obtain information from a community member that pointed us in the right direction.
Was he captured in the area?
Yes, he was located in Beltsville, in the same, not far from where all of this occurred.
Was he on his job?
I'm sorry?
Was he on his job? Is that what you found?
Not that I'm aware of, no. No.
Can we be clear about where the incident occurred? I think from your comments, you indicated it was actually in the apartment. I want to be sure that's accurate. Do you believe the killing occurred?
It's our understanding it occurred inside the residence, yes.
Okay. Which building residence was that in?
The residence for our victim was in the 1300 block of Finsbury Court. I'm not going to go into specifics as to the address.
Is there any target area in searching for the other suspect that you've alerted other agencies to?
Not at this time, no. We believe he just recently left the area. We don't have any hard information to show, and it's being alluded to here that he left the country. We can't really say that.
Argument over money. Does that mean there may have been argument over some drugs and other debts like that involved here?
No, I couldn't. There's nothing to indicate that would be the case.
One more question?